Hi, my name's Emily. Thanks for joining me on the mat today. We're going to be doing a practice today that's really focused in building our abdominal strength in the hopes that we might build up towards doing BAKASANA or crow pose. So it is an arm balance, and I know that can be a bit worrying for some people and really exciting for others. Just depends what kind of day you're having, how far along in your practice you are. But rest assured that there will be other options and it will still be a great practice for you, whether you can nail the crow pose, or whether you're really just on the beginning of that journey. All right, let's get going. Come into all fours on your mat. And from here, we're just going to come into cat-cow. So on your next in-breath, you can drop the chest, arch the back, and then exhale, round to the spine, tuck the chin into the chest. And then just cycling through at your own breath pace. Allowing the spine to really move. And then next time you curl the spine forward, let that be the last time. Come back to all fours. We're going to sit back onto the heels. So we're going to be working a lot on our hands today. So it's good just to get the wrists moving. So just start to make fists maybe and roll through the wrists. And then if you like to add on a bit of finger movement as well, you can add that in. See if you don't go the opposite way to what comes naturally as well. Really want to get them moving. All right, we'll come back into all fours and we're going to do some more wrist warm-ups here. So shift your body weight forward to the right and back over to the left. All right, so that's one circle. We can do 3 in total, just moving gently, slowly, keeping it safe and easy for your wrists. I think I've got one more to the right. And then once you get to the top of your circle, we'll go to the left, down, right, and all the way up 3 times. All right, once you finish there, again, come to sit back onto your heels. You can shake out the wrists a little bit if you like. And then we're going to flip the hands so the fingertips point back towards the back of your mat and bring the wrists down. So I have quite limited range of motion in my wrists, well, at least among some of my yogi friends. So you can just adjust. So for you, if you're a little more limited, maybe you bring the hands further towards the back of the mat. If you have more flexibility, you might take them forward more and then sit the buttocks back just to make sure that you're getting some sensation through the underside of your forearm. And then shake it out. Again, we're going to do it the other way now. So coming like this onto the back of the hands. I have quite limited range of motion, so please don't copy me. If you can kind of bring your whole hand to the mat and then sit back, you can also try and do that. But just remembering, be really gentle to your wrists. There's no point in pushing them too hard. If things will change, they'll change over time, not quickly. And then just shake it out. All right, excellent. Bring your hands to the top of your mat, tuck the toes, come into downward facing dog. And you can just pedal through the feet here, stretch through the calves. And then as you come to stillness, just step the feet in, maybe just a half step, and then have the feet on either side of your mat, so mat width apart. And then take the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, and then just trace it down, trying to create a twist through the upper body as you look underneath your left arm. And then back to center, right hand comes down, left hand to the outside of your right thigh, and create the twist, looking underneath your right arm. Knees can be as bent as you like, as makes it comfortable for you. And then come back to center. Excellent. Bring the feet back into your and a more traditional downward facing dog. Lift the heels, roll the spine forward, coming into plank pose. And now instead of releasing the belly and pressing the hips back, I want you to imagine that you're doing a crunch with the abdomen. So really tuning into the strength of your abs, and then hips come back last. Roll forward, find the squeeze through the abs, plank pose. And then again, find the squeeze through the abs, lift, 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 and then downward facing dog. This time, come forward, and then we're going to stay in plank for a hold of 1 minute. So if you want to come down onto your forearms, if that's better for your wrists, you can do that. All right, let's see how we're going. If you need to bring your knees down, you're welcome to, but see if you can challenge yourself. All right, let's do it. We've done 20 seconds. "30 seconds, we're halfway there. You can do it. Oh, I can do it. This is really warming me up. I hope it's warming you up too. All right, we've got 20 seconds to go. Just stay focused. Tell yourself you can do it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees down. Walk your hands back. Sit onto your heels, fingertips behind you. Lift the chest. Well done. That was really good. Okay, shake the hands out. Walk the hands forward. Come into downward facing dog. And then step up the feet to the top of the mat. Lift the chest as you arrive, and then forward fold. Come close into the legs. And roll all the way up to standing. Reach up. And release the hands. All right, so we're going to sit back into a low chair, hands raise up. And then from here, make sure feet are together. Bring hands into your heart. Either you can lower all the way down to come onto your buttocks like this, or if that's not right for you, you might use your hands for support to come down, or you could just step both knees down and swing the legs to the side. Wherever you are, we're going to end up on our backs. Going to give a rock side to side. All right, so we're going to be really tuning into the abs. So get ready. Okay, reach the hands forward, tuck the chin into your chest, and raise the upper back. Then separate the knees, reach the hands towards the ceiling. So you can kind of see here I'm in a crow pose, but on the floor. All right, I want you to lift the buttocks, aim the knees to the armpits. That's 1. Lower back down. Lift. 2. Lower. Lift. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. We're doing 20 in total. 8. 9. You can do it. 10. 11. Keep going. 12. 13. 14. 15. 5 more. You can do it. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. Hug the knees into your chest. Well done. Place the feet down. Bring the hands either side of your, reaching up towards the ceiling, but elbows planted into the mat. And then lift the chest. So you create a little dome up off the mat to really open through the belly and the chest. And then bring it back down. Hands to the mat. Squeeze the buttocks. Lift the hips. Bridge pose. Just enjoying the opening through the front of your body, hips, belly, and then bring it down. Well done. Okay, so bring your knees into your chest and then reach the hands forward. Same setup, so we're going to lift the upper back up off the floor. This time we're going to reach legs out towards the front. So the higher they are, the easier it is. The lower they are, the really extra massively challenging it is. So now we're going to bring right knee to the outside of right shoulder and reach the arms over. Then switch it out. Left knee on the outside of left shoulder. That's 2. Okay, 3, bring the right in. 4, bring the left in. 5, right. 6, left. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's do it. 8 more. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Release down, hug the knees into your chest. Well done. Bring the feet down, elbows into the mat, lift the chest, little modified fish pose to open through the front of the belly. Send a deep breath there. And then come back down, lift the hips, bridge pose. And bring the hips back down. So now we're going to loosen the bend of our knees a little bit and have feet about mat width apart. And then reach the hands behind you. Take them up towards the ceiling, roll up off the mat, and reach forward. So again, we're kind of trying to create that crow shape through the body. And then roll down. If you need help to come up and down, just use the hands. But see if you can fight for as much lift through the abs as you can. So rolling up. 2. Shift forward if you need to. All right, come up for 3. And lower. Let's go 4. 5. 6. So we're getting the abs. We're also getting the range of motion through the hips with this move. 7. 8. All right, we've got 2 more after this. Let's do it. 9. And reach up for 10. Woo! And lower down. All right, shift yourself back to the mat if you need to. All right, so this time we're going to take right foot underneath the right leg, bring it close to left buttocks, place it onto the mat and let the right knee flop out. And then you might bring left knee to chest, just trying to find some opening through the front of your right hip, maybe the right thigh. And then shift over. So this time, left foot towards right buttocks onto the mat, and then right knee to chest. You can hold it with the left hand. All right, release. So if it's comfortable for you, we're going to rock and roll along the spine. You might get so much momentum that you can stand into chair pose. If not, find your own way to meet us in chair pose. And then release the arms, come to standing, shake out the legs. Excellent. Reach up high and roll down. Lift on fingertips and lower in towards the legs. Step the feet to the back of the mat. Come down through a push-up of your choice and a back bend of your choice, so either cobra or upward facing dog. And then press back, downward facing dog. Bring the knees to the mat, untuck the toes, and sit back onto the heels. So what we're going to do next is going to be what's called baby bakasana, or baby crow pose. So some people find this much easier and other people find it much more difficult than the full pose. So see where you are in that and just still have a go, because whether it's easier and you get a little bit of lift that you don't normally get, or if it's harder, you get to work on your range of motion and also the strength of your belly as well. I'll give you some options. All right, so bring your hands out into all fours and then bring the elbows down so they're shoulder width apart. And then from here, tuck the toes underneath and then just walk the legs forward. So I'll demonstrate baby bakasana first, and then if you need something else, just hold on and I'll give you something else to do. All right, so we're going to try and walk the knees as high up the upper arm bones as they will go. Lean the body forward and then lift the feet. So if you're there, keep it up and come in and out as you need. If that's not for you, come into a forearm plank and just work on bringing right knee in and out, left knee in and out. Do 3 on each side. Wherever you are, just keeping on working. Either you're balancing or you're working the abs in the forearm plank. When you're ready, come back onto the knees, sit back, fingertips for support, lift the chest. How did you go? Was that easier, harder than you were expecting? Just see what it felt like and what maybe the full pose will feel like in your body. Come into downward facing dog. And then step or hop the feet to the top of the mat. Take a little lift through the chest, forward fold, and roll up to standing. Reach up. Bring the arms down. Take the arms out and up, and roll down, hands to the mat. Lift the chest, breath in, and lower the chest, breath out. Let's fly the right foot all the way to the back of the mat, finding the lunge. Place hands either side of the front foot. Drive into the hands so much so that you can lift the left foot up off the mat. Left knee to chest. Bring it towards the left armpit, down towards left wrist, up to left armpit, press back, 3-legged dog. Bring it forward, left armpit, left wrist, left armpit, press back, 3-legged dog. Bring it forward one more time, into the armpit, into the wrist, into the armpit, and back. Excellent. Bang through the left leg and bring the left foot on the outside of the right leg. Lifting up for wild thing, squeeze through the buttocks to lift the hips. And then lower the hips towards the mat. So you're facing the back of your mat. Take the right hand, the right arm, and wrap it around left leg. Create a twist through the body for Marichyasana C. Moving right toes point towards the ceiling. Make sure the right leg doesn't go to sleep. And then come back through center. Right hand to the mat, come into the side plank. And then see if you can, with control, step the left foot forward into the lunge. Bring both hands to the mat and then step right foot in, forward fold. Roll up to standing. Reach up high. And release down all the way, hands to the mat. Lift the chest and lower. Shoot the left foot towards the back of the mat, finding the lunge. Then hands press so much into the mat that right foot just lifts up and in towards the right armpit. Down towards right wrist, hover it there. Back up armpit, press back, 3-legged dog. Bring right knee forward to right armpit. Down to right wrist, hovering there. Bring it back up and press back. Once more, bring it forward, armpit, then wrist. Back to the armpit, 3-legged dog. Bend through the right leg. Bring right foot on the outside of the left leg. Wild thing, squeeze the buttocks, lift the hips, reach up and over with the right hand. And then sit the hips down onto the mat. Remember, left leg is still alive, toes point towards the ceiling. Hug the right knee with your left arm and find the twist. Come back through center, left hand, lift the hips to find side plank, then step with control, right foot all the way to the top of the mat, hands to the mat, and then step left foot to join the right, forward fold. Roll all the way up to standing, reach up high, and release the hands down. Excellent. All right. We're going to move back to the middle of our mat or thereabouts. And I like to come into crow pose from a really high, controlled, strong position rather than starting really low and then having to lift myself up. I think it's actually a little bit easier to come in high, even though maybe it feels more difficult. Bring the hands onto the mat. Lift up onto tiptoes. And then open the knees so they point towards your armpits. Then try and land the knees as high up on the upper arm bones as you can. And this is where we can just play. We don't have to be aiming for the full pose. We can just see what it's like to push our weight forward and back. Just going where you need to. Maybe you lift one foot off, put it down, and then the other, and just feel what that's like, to feel that change through your balance, through the strength of your abs. Perhaps you're ready to experiment with taking both feet off. If you fall out, you can just come back in. Maybe you give your hands a little shake. You might come up to standing. I like to have a little bit of a break between giving myself 2 goes. All right, so if you're coming in for your second go, lift up the heels, stay really high, knees as high up on the arms as you can, and then push your weight forward, perhaps to find the balance. Coming out when you're ready, rolling up to standing, shaking out through the arms, through the legs, through the wrists. Excellent. Come down onto your knees and sit back on the heels. Just give yourself a moment to steady yourself, find the balance, find the ease after that really challenging pose. And with our arm balances, I feel like there can often be a lot of reaching for them, really wanting them to happen. But let's make our yoga practice a practice for life. As someone who's had wrist injuries in both my wrists, it's really not worth pushing too far if it then takes you out of the game for a period of time. So I would suggest just being okay and working on being okay with taking the slow road. So this could be a 1-year pose for you, a 5-year pose, a 10-year pose. Have a longer focus, a longer term focus than perhaps comes more innately to us. We often want to do things really quickly. So step the right foot forward to come into a lunge. And we're just going to squeeze the left buttocks to really open through the front of the left hip. I kind of have to remind myself of that idea that we can overestimate what we want to get done in a year, but really underestimate what can happen in 10 years. So, when you are feeling yourself really attached to getting a pose, can you just pull back a little bit and also be able to kind of have that discernment inside you of whether you're pushing to challenge yourself and it's a really positive thing, or are you pushing maybe past the point of pain or past the point of safety as well. It's good to kind of develop that ability. All right, bring the left hand down. Reach the right hand forward, up and back. Perhaps you catch the left foot if it's near you, or you might just keep it in this kind of shape. Still squeezing the left buttocks. Release the foot. And then step back so you can come into the kneeling pose. And we'll switch over, step left foot forward. Squeeze the right buttocks this time so we can really tuck the hips under a little bit to find opening through the front of the right hip. I really like to think of my yoga practice as something I'm not just going to do for 5 years or 10 years, but really something that I'd like to be able to do for 60 years, knowing that it will kind of fluctuate in how it looks, how it feels, but having that longer term approach can maybe just take the pressure off and reduce the feeling that you need to push past what's good for you. Bring the right hand down, reach the left hand forward, up and back. Catch the toes, can I get them? Yep. Still squeezing right buttocks. And then gently release. And step that foot back as well. And then just sit to one side so you can bring your legs forward and come down onto the mat. Hug the knees into your chest. Place the feet down and the arms come into a T shape, or maybe you bend at the elbows for cactus shape through the arms. Lift the hips and put them over towards the right, and then let knees fall to the left. You can close down the eyes if you like. Slowly come through center, shift the buttocks all the way over to the left, knees to the right. Find the stillness in the twist again. And gently come back to center. Press into the feet, squeeze the buttocks to lift the hips. Maybe you interlace fingers behind you, walk the shoulders underneath you for a bridge pose. And slowly release shoulders, hands, hips come to the mat. And reach the legs out along the mat, preparing for your final relaxation, Shavasana. Sending deep breaths to the belly so you can really let go of all the strength that you had to tap into. And just let softness come for these final moments of class. Start to create some movement through the fingers and toes. Take a deeper breath. Maybe you turn it into a morning stretch, reaching the hands behind you, pointing to the toes, stretching out, fingertips to toe tips. And then roll onto your side so you can easily come up into a comfortable seat with the eyes closed down. Allowing yourself to adjust to being upright again. Bring your hands together at heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. Please join me again. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified about my new videos, and also leave a comment and a like. I love to know how you went, and I hope to see you really soon on the mat. Bye.